achieving, they are approaching below expectation. How about that? Yes? But how I wish it would actually allow them to have even technology itself like iPads, phones. That will be more interesting. Even you, but you are not CBE. But according to their learning, it's supposed to be like that because at some point you'll tell them, check for this. So how will I tell students to check if they don't have gadgets? And they're supposed to check like in a group, you check on proper nouns and give me more online. You check on common nouns, give me. You, like that is supposed to be ideally that, by the way. That's how the Americans study. You don't study by just having to think. Sometimes you research. But now, I think by the time some of you will become teachers, maybe Kenya will have gone to that level. I don't know. Maybe. Or for those of you who will teach abroad, because some of you don't just teach in Kenya. If you have an opportunity, go teach in Dubai, go teach in America, Canada. There are people going, especially if you take special education. I have a lot of friends who have gone to Canada and those other places, even America itself, because they do a lot of special teaching. Every learner has their challenge and we are strength. So you are supposed to do differentiated reading. We have learners who are visual, you offer them what they can see. There are those who are audio, you offer them what they can hear. There are those who are kinetic, you offer them things to touch as they learn. And then there are those who can read, offer them what to read and learn. So that is it. So someone will be recording for me this because I need to actually have it. Sometimes it's evident when you are seeking jobs abroad, you must show that you have actually done some lessons in a particular way. So when you hear something known as gender sensitive language, what do you think it is? Anyone who has an idea? Gender sensitive language. What language is that? Gender sensitive language. Anyone who has ever heard about that? Concentrate and participate. Anyone who has heard about it, you can even guess. Then from there we proceed. Yes. According to her, it's a language spoken by people in the same gender. So you mean there is a language for men, a language for women? Yes. Yes, for babies also. Yes. Any other person who has a idea? You are not responsible. Nobody can communicate by the way. Who's communicate? These communicate. But remember there is the word sensitive. Yes. What is the idea about gender sensitive language? Language for those with disability and language for those who don't have disability. That one is sign language for those who don't hear. For those who don't see, there is the use of, they just speak like this, but now they use the typing and what have you. But gender, remember it's gender sensitive language.
Maybe it's language which may be used to discriminate.
To describe?
Discriminate gender.
At least it's closer to that. There is a language that someone can use and you feel so offended, right? For example, if you are a leader in a meeting, then I call you chairman and you are a woman, how would you feel?
Bad.
You are at the gate of a school or an institution or an office, then I call you what? Watchman or gateman, how would you feel? You are in a plane, you are serving people food, then I call you what? I call you? Waiter. How do you feel? And by the way, most people in hotels, they keep calling people waiter. Whether you are a man or a woman, what is waiter meant for? somebody comes and says, "Master," how would you feel? Yeah, so when we are talking about gender sensitive language, it is that language that considers all genders and it's normally neutral. You speak considering that this career, this post, this maybe given activity engages women and men. Like the police currently, they have men, they have women. When you only call them policemen and yet you have women, you are violating gender. You are violating one gender and only considering one. So how would you avoid making someone feel bad? Maybe you don't even know whether it's a woman in charge or man. How would you make them comfortable if you don't know whether they are men or women? Instead of calling that person policeman, what would you call them?
Uncle.
You call them yeah, it's just the police. Now you go to gate, as we talked about the gate man. Some will say gate woman. I got a gate woman. Instead of that, which word would you use? Soldier. Security. Even the word security itself, or security personnel, or guard. That one would be okay. Now, as we said, you say waiter, waitress. To avoid this, which word would you use? A person can cook, while the person serving will be very different. Servant. Servant, no? Server. The server on the computer. Yeah? Now, which other? You talked about headmaster, head mistress. To avoid using any of them, which one? The head or head teacher. And we have so many others. I'm talking about a parent. I don't know whether you have only a mother or a father. Then I say, your father should come tomorrow. Maybe you don't have, by situation. It's a parent. Guardian, you know, it's someone who is taking charge of you, not exactly your mother or father. That is different. So, this is for feminine, this is masculine, right?
Yes.
This is feminine. This is gender sensitive or neutral. And I'm sure at class 7 you learned this. I want you to give me more. I can hear you telling me yes. So I want you to give me more. Gender sensitive language. A language that eliminates discrimination of gender. So I want you to give me at least 5 more away from this one. I want you to give me 10 more words. These are either masculine, feminine, then we give back gender. These ones are gender bias, by the way. These two. And they also apply to animals. When someone wants to refer to a dog that is female, they call it, yes? They call it bitch, right? What about if it is male? It's called dog. Dog in general. Male dog is called what? We normally have people call him cow. Do you know cow is a specific gender of, is it female or male? Both. Cow. Cow is female. Male is bull. But cattle is for both. So it applies even to animals. Now give me more words, like 5 different ones. And let them not be common ones. After. Feminine.
Actress.
Sensitive. Sensitive. Yes. No. Yes. How do you avoid actor or actress? Which one? How do you avoid the two? I want you to give me one word. No?
I say another one.
Which word would you use? You sound like you are only favoring men or women. Yes? You have to find out that. Yes? We have matron, patron. General, which one would you use? Yes? Yeah. Content creators you can create content but you're not active.
Yes.
But when you act now, and you don't want to say whether you're a woman or man, what are you? Yeah? You find out, because this is a task actually that is necessary. If you're a patron or matron, you want to avoid that, what will you say? Yeah? It depends though, whether you are in charge of a club or in charge of boarding areas. If you're in charge of boarding areas, you become janitor. What about if you're in charge of a club? You'll just be leader or something like that, overseer, something like that. So it depends whether you are talking of a club or you are talking of sleeping arrangements. Any other one that is used for, yes? Master, we talked about it already. Yes. Where master? I wanted some other unique word. You people are not pointing out some words I just wish to. Yeah, this one is tasted a lot. Fireman. Firewoman. Which one do you use here? Firefighter or? It's another name. Or fire brigade, right? Yes.
Chairman.
Jason is also tasted a lot. Chairman. Chair or chair? Pastor. Close to you, you have some other one. Or you could just say.
Yes.
There.
Landlord.
Landlord. And ground zero. What is the gender sensitive name? Yeah? House owner? You can add more. Yes. Yeah? Hero or heroine? Yeah, for women it's heroine, for men it's hero. So, what about the common person who has done something outstanding? Yes? Becomes? We talk of legend. Yeah, legend. We have also had a lot of people talking about manhood. Do you have womanhood? Manhood? Do you have womanhood? No. Because that is also listed and the gender sensitive word is supposed to be adulthood. Yeah. Because it is normally based on growth. So when it's tested and they want to remove gender sensitive, you must change it to adulthood. Most times we have been calling our workers in the house what? Maid, right? Is maid applicable to men? No. They are called houseboys. Even if it is an adult of 7 years, we call them houseboys. Now that is not appropriate. Which word should we use? Housekeeper. Housekeeper or house help is okay. Now there are those who also call a woman housewife all the time. But now, currently, the word has changed. You may find a man who is not working, the wife is working. So, which word should we use for both cases? Instead of a housewife, so that we don't have house husband. So, which word do we use? No, it is a housemaker. We consider that as they sit in the house, they are not just sitting, they are doing something, so they become housemaker. Instead of housewife, they should be called housemaker. Most times when you go into businesses, they say businessman, right? Do you have business women these days? Yes. So which word should we use? Business person or business. This part of masculine. Which one should we use? And then still go. Owner. Running or staff by or occupy. Instead of saying money. Who is manning this institution? Now, most times also when we are talking, is it business or history? When you are talking about workers, you call them what? Manpower. Yes? So instead of manpower, which one should people use? Yes? Instead of saying manpower. Say business people, you have an option. Yes? Instead of calling workers manpower, which one should we use? Employees or human resource. Now, in a play, when it is some people are attending to us, we call them what? The hostess. We call them steward. Yes, steward is for men. Stewardess is for women. So instead of that, we call them flight attendant. Then in most companies you have heard they are saying, who is the foreman, right? Now we have people who are but they are women, and they are just overseeing what is happening out there. So how should you call them now?
The supervisor.
You should call them your supervisor or overseer. There is another gender insensitive language. We've heard a lot of people saying no man's land. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
You can write that, no man's land. There is a land between, even when you go to Narok, before you reach Tanzania, there is the part of Kenya, Tanzania, then there is a part that is not belonging to Kenya, or they call it no man's land. That place, instead of calling it no man's land, it should be called no? Unclaimed territory. Unclaimed territory. Now there's also a proverb that is is it a proverb or a saying? Every man for himself. We keep saying every man for himself, not for us. And that one is masculine. What about if you want to consider everyone? We say everyone for themselves. Everyone for themselves. Okay. Most times we have referred to countries as mothering. In Africa, mothering, maybe Kenyans, Ugandans, and whatever. Or Kenya mothering Kenyans. Which one should we use instead of being feminine? We should say? Yes. Even animals, we keep saying they are mothering. But we have cases where even the male takes care of that young one. We have even cases currently, kids who are left by, I saw during Mother's Day, there was a man who came up on social media showing that he was left with a baby. I think the baby was almost 1 week and the mother just ran away. And he has taken care of that. He's a even a bike rider, not even a motorbike, bike, the normal bike. So he normally carries customers holding the baby here. We also saw another case last year, I think it was January. A woman who, after delivering twins, she also ran away and left his husband to take care. So the husband was actually taking care of the twins, and he came up on social media to share. So which means currently, even fathers are also mothering. So we don't want to use the word mothering. So which one do we use? Parenting. Now for that one, parenting is okay, or caring, but there is a common word now if you are referring to a country which will attract the word nurturing. So write nurturing instead of mothering. Nurturing. And there is also the insistence and use of his or her. Most times you find someone saying his, her. Sometimes we get confused. So which one do we use? Theirs, right? Instead of him, her, him, her. She, he. We say they. So we use the plural form. Now let's look at the text, what they have shared with us. We read through and you do the word. It's 14. Let's read through.
When we use language, we must be careful not to exclude or discriminate against a certain section of people, either male or female. In most cases, it is the female sex that is affected by the bias. This discrimination, for instance, occurs in the use of pronouns. Consider the following examples. A candidate should be provided with everything he needs. A good leader is one who respects himself. As you know, we have both male and female candidates and leaders. It is therefore not fair to use the masculine pronouns he and himself to refer to both sexes. sentences can be improved in the following ways. A candidate should be provided with everything he or she needs. A good leader is one who respects himself or herself. However, this is sometimes felt to be clumsy, and especially if a pronoun occurs more than once as in the following sentences. If anyone here wants to improve his or her image, he or she should seek advice on what suits him or her. The second way would be to write the sentences in plural. For example, candidates should be provided with everything they need. Good leaders are those who respect themselves. Those who want to improve their image should seek advice on what suits them. Yet another way is the use of the second person pronoun you. For example, if you want to improve your image, you should seek advice on what suits you. In spoken or informal language, people tend to use the plural pronouns there and them in harmony to avoid the pronoun he. Look at the following examples. If anybody rings, tell them I am in a meeting. Can everyone close their eyes in prayer? In formal language, however, it is noted that one everybody and everyone are singular and should therefore not go with the plural pronouns them and their. To avoid this complication, one can rewrite the sentence as follows. If anybody rings, say I am in a meeting. Please close your eyes in prayer. Let us close our eyes in prayer. Another way of avoiding the excessive pronouns is to use she or he. For example, consult your teacher and do what she or he advises. She or he only occurs in formal written language and is not very widespread. Once again, the best way to go about it would be to write a sentence.
Yeah, I hope you've got the 3 instructions right there. And we need to write them down so that you can remember. But because we often write exams in formal language, not in informal, we are only going to write rules based on formal writing. So let's write the first rule that we can add there. To avoid gender-biased language, we can also, to avoid gender-biased language, we can also use the pronoun you. We can also use the pronoun you. Example. If you want to have better life, if you want to have, you must, you have, you must for it. If you want to have better life, you must work for it. Another rule, use other pronouns such as they or completely avoid the presence of such by writing as follows. by writing as follows. If anyone speaks in class, report them. So we are avoiding that around which has his or her, then himself or herself, it is not suitable. However, when they test a lot in exams, I normally see where there is a specific word. But in case they are not given a specific word, that is when you will be forced to use his or her. But if the sentence can allow you to use you were, then you better use you were. I hope it's clear. But try to research, maybe when you go back home, if you have your brothers or sisters in grade 7, they are learning, even if it begins at grade 2, I think, especially on animals. Like the female of a donkey, the female of a dog, and male. Because they test that in an exam, and you need to know that stallion means what? Stallion means? Stallion is what? What animal is that?
Horse.
Male or female?
Female.
So you need to know. You need to know colt. Colt is what?
Dog.
So you have to know so that in case they test that and they tell you to remove gender sensitive, you say a donkey or seen in the market instead of colt or stallion. Then they bring maybe the male of a pig. What is the male of a pig? Pig. Piglet. What is the one? Or if they bring lamb, ewe, and all those, you be aware that they are talking about a certain animal so that you replace with the correct word. So please research on that because in your text it will not be there, but in an exam it will easily come. And also different professions with different names used right there. So we have assignments here for you. And I think the examples we've given are there. So we have 4 assignments. Those are the assignments. Work of them. Then we shall be marking tomorrow. Let us start. Let's be able to work on that.
Why are you sleeping?
Huh? Why is she sleepy like that? Bye.